Seltzer. It's so nice to meet you. In today's video, we're going to talk about why your business needs to do more lead nurturing and how to do it. So, hi, I am the founder of Ellison Ellery Consulting. We are a digital marketing agency, and everybody always asks us what kind of industries we focus on. We focus on the ones that have people. So, if you sell to people, then we're the agency for you. I have 20 years of marketing. I'm a mother of 3 awesome kids, public speaker, and fractional CMO. So hi, this is my lovely office. I normally have my sign in the background going off, but I just wanted to fully introduce myself, and then we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about email marketing, the do's and don'ts, and really how you could win and make it a much more profitable channel if it isn't already for you. In our agency, we do mostly focus on B2B, which is anybody who sells to another business. We're in the lead gen space, and then higher ed because they also generate lead flow. So just kind of get started, right? This guy right here, I always like to kind of kick off any video with a little bit more fun. A lot of times people tell me like email just doesn't really work for us, or it's not a great channel. Look at that guy. You know what? It does. And let's look at this. For every dollar you spend on email, you could expect about $42 in response. But we're going to walk through how to fine-tune your email marketing to really get the most out of it, right? The key elements to really look for. One of the first things you should be doing is asking your customers to take you out of the promotions tab in your email, right? So a lot of times going into promotions is kind of what I always say is like where emails go to die. I have like 100,000 emails in promotions. So you really got to teach people to say, drag my email out of promotions and put it in your inbox, right? There's some other strategies on how to improve your deliverability, and I'm going to cover that in just a second. So really honing in on getting people, first, if you don't even get in that inbox, right, it's a lot harder to get people to see your content and then to make, adjustments for them to open it, right? So here is, oh, this is so tiny. But there's all these different things that you have to focus in on. That includes like open rate, click-through rate, unsubscribes, bounces, marked as spams, forward rate, reply rate. A lot of times I'll give you some strategies. If, for example, you have a downloadable, go ahead, instead of offering it on your thank you page, offer it by email. I know it's like an area of friction, so you have to kind of weigh in sometimes that area. Like you don't want too much friction, so you want to do this sometimes, but not always. But having people go into their email to click on the email will improve your deliverability rate. If people could click on your emails, reply to your emails, and really kind of engage with them, you improve your quality score, right? Design matters, but not as much as you think it is, right? Look at that design right there. So I wanted to kind of show you sometimes HTML emails work a lot better. And shorter is sweeter when it comes to emails. A lot of people try to put every feature and every benefit, and they just verbal vomit on everything. Actually, I have a problem with that myself. So this is from Privy. I would recommend signing up for their newsletters. They're great. They're an email company for e-commerce, but just really, they know email well. So they have an emoji at the top where it's 15 ways to drive holiday sales with like a little box, delivery box. They also have images, but this is the great thing. What they're doing in this email is they identified, this is sent on December 8th of this year, and they said, hey, these influencers that have 3.8 million followers, they asked them, have you done your Christmas shopping yet? And 76% of their 3.8 million that responded said no. And what they're doing is they're bubbling up that piece of insight, sending it back out, and then driving people to the next thing. They're not saying, hey, sign up for my service. They're actually saying, that's exactly why I put together these 15 ideas that will help drive sales for your holiday season. They are driving them to another piece of conversion, another piece of education, as opposed to necessarily just driving them to a close, like buy now. That's actually one of the main reasons that email doesn't work for so many people, is because it's so self-serving. You have to write emails with value. If you have a lot of unsubscribes or people aren't opening your emails, it's because they think your emails are lame, and they might be, so you really have to figure out, what can I give them that's going to be valuable? And we're going to kind of cover that in just a second with buying triggers and who are your customers. So you will get to that in a moment. Here's another one. It's December 16th, so a few days after that one. Now they're offering me a sale, a promotion, right? The gift of season, get 50% off your first month. Here's how to get the offer. So they're going to walk you through some like how to get this offer. And then there's another call to action, right? PS, upgrade. And now you get another value of one-to-one coaching. So it's not only do you save money, but you also get this one-on-one coaching, which I found to be very valuable. So a great email. And you're noticing that they're not these huge HTML emails. They're just completely text emails, right? So text is really powerful. Don't feel like you always have to make it amazing. Here's another one for Privy is the Black Friday playbook free. And I'm going to talk about that. Don't be afraid. It's not a spam word anymore. The best part, it's free. Get your copy of the book. The secret to, and this is the image, right? The secret to getting 3 million monthly views on Pinterest and driving 600. So they're telling you there's a secret. They're telling you how, with a number, with social proof, like there's a number here, and then they're telling you what you're going to make on this, right? That's a powerful statement. And I'm going to show you, and they also offer you a 6-day boot camp you need to prep for that Black Friday, right? On Monday, we're kicking off this boot camp. What you get, offer ideas, secrets of building up your email list. Like they have thought through why this would be interesting for someone else. I feel like a lot of times in B2B emails or just even in higher ed, we don't do all those things. We're not driving them to a 6-day course or a boot camp. We're not driving them to anything. We're just saying enroll now or sign up now or book a demo. Like that's the call to action, right? So it's just not as compelling. All right, so this is that call to action that we just saw a second ago. I went ahead and took a screen grab of it, and you could see that's a really strong, impressive ebook, right? And then there's actually a download feature right there. So you could easily download it, and they're giving you a lot of value in that, right? Okay, email subject lines that drive action. Like I mentioned a second ago, free is not the enemy. If you put free in your subject line, you can increase your open rates by as much as 34%. Limited, last chance, those are all urgency type of messaging, and that always will still work, right? And then 2022 is really working because people are looking for insights, people are looking for what to do next, people are really looking for what else is there. And then versus 21, so X versus Y, it's, you know, our job to create some really great content to inspire, but also to drive like insights and revelations and things that they can't get on their own. That's how you bring value, right? So this versus that is really powerful. 56% of brands are using emojis in their subject lines, and they have a higher open rate. So do not fear the emoji. Just to give you an idea, January's New Year's Day, the ones that used some form of January emoji that was really related had a much higher open rate, right? Read rate, a 21% lift. And then inbox placement rate. So like really high, right? And the complaint rate, well, in some cases it was a little higher just depending on what the content was, right? And then this is not spam, actually was really high. So new year, new gear, new deals. Everybody loves to say almost the exact same thing in all their new year, new you kind of thing. So just try to avoid that one. Here's a blog that we have on AllisonEllery.com, and it's all about emails. So it's going to be a supplement to go with this video. So do be sure to check out that video. We do about how to improve your deliverability, tracking in the era of iOS changes, how to really get higher conversions by using ... and just testing a variety of different subject lines and copy in email. And, you know, using GIF and movement. Movement in emails is so powerful, right? So use GIF in email, increases your click-through rate up to 26%, which is pretty, and be honest, like we just want to be entertained. That's why GIFs, you know, it just doesn't look like it's coming from like a tax person or like I always say Deloitte. Sorry, Deloitte, you guys actually are doing some pretty cool stuff. But we all want to be entertained some way or another, right? So if your email reads like work and it feels boring, people aren't going to open it. And then people also aren't going to keep opening it if you just keep letting them down. They're either going to unsubscribe or you just stay in promotions, and that's where you go to die and nothing ever happens, right? So let's kind of talk about in your email. So there's one thing to make sure you have great deliverability, great subject lines, which have to be really good. But you also have to kind of speak to people's pain points, right? So when I say give people value, you have to really understand who your customers are and what they're looking for. What are their pain points? What are you solving for? And people always talk to me like we need to do demographic research. And I'm like, no, you don't. You know, for the most part, no, because demographics don't buy. You know, just because you're like a 34-year-old mom doesn't mean you need a Volvo or, you know, a Honda Accord or whatever. I don't know. But I just mean that demographics aren't the reason you bought. It's triggers. And then there's emotional triggers, there's social triggers, there's all these other reasons. But you have to identify what the pain point that you're solving for and how you're going to solve it, right? So, and then once you start to figure out like how do you speak to people's pain points or what's driving them to buy in the first place, then you can start creating content that's valuable to them, right? Ultimately, what we're trying to do is just clear a path forward for customers, right? They all signed up for your newsletter either because they like your lipstick or because they have a B2B job to do, or, you know, they need some service or product. So really clearing the path forward and making your emails really easy to understand and like what the next step is. What should I do off this email? Sometimes I get an email, there's like no call to action, but there's like an offer in it. And I'm like, but there's no link in here. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? go figure out what the URL is from your email send signature, you know. So those are missteps. Who are you selling to? I kind of just talked about that a second ago. Talk to your customers. Yeah. Okay, but there's two things I want to say about talking to customers. One, don't primarily talk to your customers because there's a thing called the curse of knowledge. What the hell is that? Well, glad you asked me. Let me see if I can make me more of a person. Okay, so the curse of knowledge, what is that? So if once your customer goes through the sales cycle and becomes a customer, they learn a lot. They're really educated. So, and then you already told them what's valuable at the end of it. So that's the curse of knowledge. You also want to chat with a lot of customers that haven't bought from you and understand what their pain points are. Or if you lost the customer to a competitor or to another solution altogether, you definitely want to ask them why, because that person is the person you want to get in front of, right? So you want to talk to customers, but you want to talk to people, prospective customers, and also customers who did not buy from you, and then cobble all those insights together into what they find valuable, how you could help them do their job better, and then what kind of like entertainment you can give to them that would be related some way. So in this is kind of just the marketing sales funnel. There's awareness, consideration, and what you give. What really works a lot well are like tip sheets, checklists, white papers, white files, anything you can make their job easier by giving them some tool that they could apply to their own work. Really, really is helpful. And that's all in the component of education. And that's really what your email should be. There should be a form of educating your buyer, entertaining your buyer, and then driving them to micro conversions, not straight buy now. And then as you start to get lower in the funnel and your salespeople take over, that's when they're really having messaging about like book my demo, call me now. And then you also want to stay in contact with your buyers and create a whole strategy for not only delighting them in onboarding, which is really, really important because that's how you get advocates, but then also just keeping connected with them, because just because they bought doesn't mean they're going to renew. Right? Or just because they bought doesn't mean they're going to be happy and stay. So you really need to make sure that you're constantly educating them how to use your service better, how to be a better customer to you, but also how they could do their job better. And then that helps you with retention. But email is a powerful tool with customer retention too. Some of the things I mentioned, this is from SEMrush, but like how-to guides, landing pages, infographics, checklists. You're going to drive somebody from email to the next thing, right? They're micro conversions. Like you're trying to get them to digest more of your content and kind of build that relationship. Ultimately, you're dating someone, right? So like if you're dating someone, you're not going to go on a first date and be like, marry me, which is like book a demo. Yeah, you're not going to propose marriage. You're going to just try to get them to the second date and the third date and the fourth date. So that's kind of where we're going for here. This right here, I just realized I'm not on screen, so I will fix that. Whoa! So let's say you're selling an alarm clock right here. I know I just had this great like expression and I wasn't on camera. Whoa! So I'm like a ghost in the room. How creepy. One of the things to think about too is when you're writing your emails and you're just talking to customers, remember you're talking to real people, so don't be lame. And then the second one is also don't always talk through features and benefits. Think about like what the end customer, how you're transforming their lives. How are you transformational to them, right? So in this case, like an alarm clock is automatic, time syncing, flexible, brightness control, sleep tunes, playlist curation. By the way, if you are flexible brightness control, I heard that like in Amazon, it's really hard to find that. So you should lead with that also. So once you find out like competitively you offer a feature that no one else does, totally run with it. But you also want to say like you stop sleeping in, achieve more of your day, accomplish your goals. So if your goal is to lose 600 pounds from COVID, then that's something you probably want to speak to, right? But that's kind of the reason that people get an alarm clock. It's not for these features. It's really because they want to get up in a timely manner. So one of the things I mentioned is that you want to be like a new form of edutainment. So part education, but a part entertainment. You want people to want to open your emails, right? You want people to engage with you. So that's really important. How do you create content and have personality where, the person wants to be a part of the brand? Okay, so welcome emails have a strong potential, and I see this all the time. So your first email that you send someone after they fill out a form and they request information is going to be opened at the highest rate of any email. And almost every time, wah, wah, wah. It's such a disappointment because it'll say things like, we got your info and someone's going to contact you shortly. Wah, wah, wah. Well, the average welcome email is open at 82%, right? A regular email is open at 21%. Like that email that you send, the very first one, make it magical, make it value, make it intriguing, make it everything that it's supposed to be. And then you have the biggest potential to get that person to open your next email and open your next email. And you see the big drop off of 82% to 21%. I guess the other way around, is because your email was lame and they're not that interested and they didn't get like that much value out of it. So really keep that in mind. So like I said, you really want to convey personality, and that is so incredibly important. So if you're the person who is working on your emails has no personality, then maybe that's not the person who should be writing your emails. If you look at the company Drift, they coined conversational marketing, and what they do is they're like a chat bot with some other sales enablement stuff. But what they did was lean in really hard with gifts and personality, and you kind of were excited to read each one because it was just like a little Easter egg. You're like, oh, that's cool. So be that for people, right? And then you don't always have to talk, like I hardly even know what Drift really does because they mostly focus on education and personality, right? But I have recommended them numerous times to the companies I work with. I mean, their chatbots are great, but I mean, to the core, I don't know every feature and benefit that they have. I just know they're awesome and you should work with them, kind of thing. All right, one of the things that I shared in a different webinar also, but this is such a great idea if you haven't. If you have a lot of unsubscribes, it doesn't mean they hate you. I know it feels that way. But what you can do is, yes, you cannot email to them again, but you can upload that whole list of unsubscribes into Facebook. This is a screenshot of Facebook, and you could actually upload them and advertise to them through retargeting. So I'm going to talk on retargeting in just a second because it's a powerful tool. But when you do that, then you have a chance to bring them back, right? So maybe share value in a different way. Maybe get them to do some micro conversion, get them download something, have them watch a video, and kind of get reintroduced to the brand. Maybe you're off on the wrong foot. So there's a way to still save all those folks. All right, the evils of gated content. Should you or should you not gate your content? Yes and no. Some situations totally gate your content, but other situations you really want the person to digest and engage with your content because you're ultimately trying to get that person to be a little bit more educated and move them down the funnel. Your job isn't just to collect their info and then have a salesperson try to do it. You really want to build that relationship, and that's hard to do if you don't gate some of your content, right? So you do need strong calls to action on your website that says, hey, sign up for my newsletter. This is what you'll get. Get an ebook, get some other piece of content. So you want some of your content to be gated. It has to be really exceptional, but then you also need to ungate some of your content too. You have to remember, when you're sending out emails and everything else, people really care about this. They care about their families. They care about their own personal life, their hobbies. They don't care about your service, So if you keep that in mind, right? She just wants to get off of work to focus on her fitness and all of that. So we have to break through the clutter and really get her attention, right? When she's not that into it. So really think about that when you're creating content, and your email strategy has to kind of align with a content strategy. They can't be done in silos. The importance of lead nurturing. Okay, so this is so poignant, and I want you to take in. Only 3% of buyers are active buyers. That means so when they fill out a lead form, really only 3% of your leads in any one way or referrals are really actively going to buy right now. Some intend to buy in the short-term feature. 30% need to but not ready to act. Maybe like their boss is in a bad mood all the time, or they're switching out people, or maybe the company's going to get bought. 30% do not have a need, and 30% are not interested specifically in your company. But if your whole marketing strategy is drive the lead, hit them on the phone a bunch of times, or send them like 2-3 emails, then you're going to really miss out at least on 37% of buyers, because you really need to nurture them. This is actually cannabis growing, so I thought that was funny. But you have to nurture them, right? Because you want to be ready for when they are ready to buy and build that relationship so they're ready for you. Personalization is no longer about first name, last name. It's about relevant content. I hit to go too fast, but relevant content doesn't mean like just dear, so-and-so, and you put a variable of their name. It really means to the core that you're creating custom content to that person's journey, right? Really identifying what is interesting to them. Where do you go from here? Let me just kind of go over here. And then creating journeys for that specific person and that specific pain point. I wanted to share a couple. This is for like video and stuff, and there's all these really cool email providers now that can help you create and code your emails, but I also want to encourage you to add a lot more video to your emails, and these are some ways that you could add video without being that super labor expense. There's a script and Loom and Animoto and Canva, and you can get freelancers on Fiverr and Upwork and Vineyard for adding video from like your salespeople right into an email. So you can make it a little bit more custom. So I just wanted to give you guys those options too. If you apply all of this, this is what it's going to feel like, right? Yay! The money tree is finally bear fruit there. Here is kind of what I mentioned a moment ago. is you want to drive people to something. So here's one example. We have a lead generation checklist that has all these different lead strategies and thought processes. We have budgeting, we have email marketing, we have brand storytelling. So we have all these things that we're driving in our lead nurturing the person to the next thing. And then we're going to show them and wow them with our kind of thought leadership and execution. And then they're like, oh, I should hire them because they know what they're doing. I want to do more of this for myself. So that's kind of the goal of anything that you're doing is you want to drive them to that next piece of value. You made it this far. We're almost done. Let's hear it. Yay! You're a marketing whiz. Retargeting ads, cross-channel marketing. So this is where you're driving people to click, from email. Let's say they haven't engaged that much on your email, but what you can do is then retarget them if they click on a specific landing page. Like let's say they have interest in one of your products or services from email, and they click to that specific service page or landing page. And then you could add a pixel for retargeting, and I'll show you how it works in just a second. But you could add a pixel and then specifically message them additional information for that service. And I'll show you how that works. But retargeting makes it 70% more likely to convert visitors into paying customers. Retargeting can result in a 147% increase in average conversion rates. Retargeting can deliver a 700% increase in overall site visitors due to improved ad conversions. And you can get more brand searches by 500% with retargeting. So the prospect visits your website. So you go from email, you drive them through an email, and then they visit your website, and then they leave without making a purchase or kind of engaged, And then prospect goes to Facebook, as we all do, right? And the prospect is shown your re-messaging ads. This is a chance for you to tell your story in a variety of different ways through different ads. So maybe you're talking specifically about how you could transform their lives. Maybe you're driving them to another mini conversion rate. You're just getting in front of them, right? The more touch points, you're getting reach and frequency. You're kind of, breaking them down a little bit and getting them more comfortable with the idea of your service. But, you can use your ads to then bring them back to another piece of valuable content. And then that's when they start to see your brand and they start to associate it and they start to go back to your next email is that much more observed in their email box, right? Prospect likes and clicks the ad, and then potentially you could recover the sale. Or if it's like a much bigger B2B sale, this is some of the ways that you can get like the different buying committee excited about your product. So how it works, you just in Pixel, and you could do this on Facebook, you could do it on Google, LinkedIn, they all have these custom pixels. You create an audience, you set up retargeting, and you create some really kick-ass ads. And then you kick off the ads and you track how they're doing. A little bit more about retargeting. They have a positive reaction to retargeting ads by 30%. You could boost your ad response rate by 400%. And 3 in 5 online buyers notice retargeting ads. So I have done that. I visited different sites and then I see the ads. And that's really through the ads do I start to get familiarity with the company. If you have any questions, I'm going to give you my email address. I'm here for it. So I'd love to answer any kind of questions that you have. This is our amazing team. This is the team that you possibly would be working with if you so wanted to move forward with us. And we'd love to chat with you to see what your needs are. Here is our email address, AllisonElleryConsulting.com. And our website is AllisonEllery.com. And look, there's another one of me behind me. Look at that. All right, so we got to the end. Make sure we totally high five each other because this was awesome, not short. And then this is my little Easter egg that I always leave everybody with at the end of any video. So let's all do a little dance just like him. Congrats. Good luck in all of your email marketing. And here's our contact info again, just in case you need it. Bye.